He's phony, she's fake. That's the type of people I hate. Hey, 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 Jada, Jada, hey, hey, Jada, Jada.
Hey everybody, this is Joyce Moore with More Than Fitness, and I'm here with Rhonda Payne-Thomas. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. It's good to have you here. We're going to be talking about an interesting hot topic. Whenever you look at magazine ads or commercials and TV, you always see people looking their absolute best. They're tight, there's no cellulite, their hair is perfect, skin is perfect, but a lot of those things have been photoshopped or edited out by software programs. So Rhonda is a photographer. She does a lot of photoshopping and things like that with pictures and really brings out the beauty and the essence of each and every picture she takes. So we're going to go over a couple of things like that today, but right now we're going to get right into it. So with Photoshop, what is Photoshop and how does that work with the magazines and pictures and things?
Okay, Photoshop pretty much is just a software that photographers use to enhance pictures in the simplest form. We take Photoshop, most people who take a picture, it's not going to capture that picture as accurately as they see it. So I'm not talking about just altering people or things. I'm talking about just as your eye sees color and things, the camera doesn't pick up the wide spectrum of colors and things that you see. So with Photoshop, you're able to bring back in some of what is missing from a picture. Now that's what maybe the ordinary photographer would do with Photoshop. They will take a picture, say a landscape, and say, oh, I remember the leaves were much greener than that, and they'll take Photoshop, and through Photoshop you're able to up the green, saturation, you're able to change colors, you're able to go from, what was a green scenery to a fall scenery, or you know what I mean? So you're able to change in the simplest form. That's what Photoshop could do. Now today, for fashion and the thing we're going to be talking about today, the Photoshop experts are able to change a lot more things than just the color of clothing and things like that, because the image that the industry wants to put out, the fashion industry, is that this is the ideal of perfection.
Wow.
So you have to deliver perfection, and we all know there is nobody that's perfect.
Right.
So
right.
most every photograph you will see on a cover of a magazine or whatever is going to have some photoshopping done to it.
Wow. And that's true, guys. Like the simplest picture that you would think. For example, when James and I got married, Rhonda took our photos, and she wanted them to be really beautiful as a gift. And so we have minor blemishes on our skin and things like that. It might have been like the sun was in our eyes a little too much, and she just went in and made those fine touches. But everyone that looked at those pictures was just in total amazement how beautiful they came out. And my husband has his picture on Facebook.
Yeah, cutting you out.
Yeah, with my face cut out of the picture.
Yeah.
And so, all these people are, checking out his picture, and it's just crazy. So I definitely understand firsthand how that works.
And see, for you, and somebody like, you and James photographing you, it wasn't so much about perfection, but beauty. And I look at the beauty in each person and try to enhance it. So I really don't try to take away from people unless it's absolutely necessary. But the cover of a magazine, that's something different. They try to remove things. I will remove blemishes, and that's what a standard photographer will do. But when you're talking about what we call Photoshop weight loss and things like that, that's a different level, and it will make a person sometimes not even look like themselves anymore.
Wow.
It'll be somebody totally different.
Wow. So when you look at these magazines, I don't know if we can get a close-up on this magazine.
Well, and she's obviously in good shape naturally. I mean, working out or whatever. So I'm going to assume that there are some things that are actually what she is. However, I start at the face, and I'll look at that, and I'll say, okay, her eyes are very light. And that's the first thing that I don't think it's contact. I think it's Photoshop. The first thing I will do when I look at somebody is I will pop out their eyes to make them stand out more. I think the Photoshop expert who did this did it too much because it looks almost unnatural, and that's what happens sometimes. Her eyes almost look alien-like, and that's not created by the lighting. That's created by someone lightening her eyes a little bit too much.
Right.
Also, you can see she has some bags under her eyes. Believe me, they were more prominent than what you're seeing here.
Wow.
Because you can tell they've been softened a little bit. They wanted it to still look natural, but they obviously softened it just enough to keep it there, but yet it wouldn't be as prominent as it would be in natural life. And you must remember, when you take a picture of somebody, you're using artificial light. Artificial light will bring out the worst in everybody.
I remember you saying that.
Right, so she didn't just photograph. There are some people who photograph very well, but most people don't, and they need some photos. You can tell the skin tone. Most people aren't the same color everywhere.
Wow.
And
That's a
most
good
people are
point.
either darker in the face because their face is exposed,
Right.
or even lighter in the face if they wear makeup like myself on a regular basis. The sun is not getting to your face as much. Her skin tone is almost completely
Even. Look at that.
even throughout the whole picture. So that just stands out to me. Her teeth are beautifully whitened. You know, I don't know if that's natural or not. It doesn't look to be. It looks kind of artificially lightened. And then you just can go on down. You know, the curvature of her body right here seems a little long or distorted. The way she's posed, it doesn't seem
Right.
like she would be that way.
Sure.
You don't see her bone that's here. You don't really see it as much over there. It just,
Wow.
her thighs have been probably just trimmed up just a little because she's obviously in shape.
Right.
But that's just a few things I can see in that picture.
Wow, that is incredible. So when you look at this magazine, when you see it on the shelves at the store, you're instantly going to be like, wow, I want that sexy body.
That's just,
But all in all, this is not what she looks like on a daily basis. I
Right.
mean, she has given the photographer something to work with
right,
because she's in
right.
shape.
She's in good shape, right.
But
she's not perfect.
she's not perfect.
Exactly.
Right, and
But
that's
she
what we can-
projects that based on this cover. She
Right.
projects that she is the example of perfection.
All right, awesome. So we just talked about magazine covers, and what you see may not necessarily be the real deal. So when you go out and you get those magazines and you're like, I want to look like that lady, don't automatically assume that that's what the real person looks like. Sorry guys out there, it's not real. So we were talking the other day about this new trend and the Ralph Lauren scandal with, you know, showing ultra skinny models. Do you want to tell our audience about that a little bit?
Yeah, Ralph Lauren had a model that had posed for them since she was 15 years old. So she had been with them for a very long time. They became concerned, I guess, at some point that she was maybe a little thicker. What's amazing to me is that this woman is 5'10" and weighs 120 pounds.
Wow.
She's not a heavy woman, you know what I mean? 5'10" and 120 pounds is not what anybody would call a heavy woman.
Sure.
But I think the whole scandal, though, she was ultimately fired, but after the image of her being extremely photoshopped came to light.
Wow.
She was photoshopped to the point where her head was not proportioned to the rest of her body. Her body looked like that of, you know, someone that had been starved for months, like a very thin, gaunt. Her head still had the very vibrant, full face,
Wow.
you know, woman that she is. And so that came to light, and people saw the image and thought, you know, something wrong here. Why would Ralph Lauren
Sure.
Photoshop this beautiful woman who is 120 pounds at 5'10" to be that skinny?
Wow.
She was ultimately fired after that picture came to light, and they told her that she didn't fit she didn't meet her contract requirements
Wow.
anymore. So she spoke out on it, and it's very disturbing that Ralph Lauren would think that a woman that's 5'10" and 120 pounds, too fat to wear their clothes.
Wow. So what does that say about the consumer? If the manufacturer is saying that their product is only for the very, very slim, then the average sized woman, are they really making these clothes for us? Hey guys, we just got done with part 1 of the interview with Rhonda Payne Thomas of Design Photography. We're going to come back with part 2, but you got to stay tuned. So check in next week and get the rest of the interview and see the amazing results from those photos she took of us. See you next time.